Hey guys, it's Amy. This is the first time I've done a pickup day video, but I think this will be better because then I don't skip over anything. I like to go into a lot of detail and sometimes people need to go, so we end up missing some stuff. So anyway, I'm going to try this and see how this works out, which I think it will work out better because if people are in a rush, then I don't feel like I'm keeping them, and this way here, you're not going to miss anything. Okay, so when you arrive, obviously, I'll be waiting for you, or you can just go towards the kennel and I will obviously catch up with you there. There's no right time, wrong time, as long as your pickup is between usually 11:30, 12. People show up usually in that time frame, and that's okay. It's easier because normally I would just have everybody come in and we would just go through the paperwork kind of thing, all at the same time. But by doing this video, I won't need to spend so much time in case people do have to go, okay? And then you can listen to this as many times as you want if you've forgotten something. So yeah, so the crate for the ride home that you're going to use is very beneficial. So if you can fit your crate in your vehicle, I do suggest bringing the crate that you're going to use if you can. If not, a laundry basket's fine. But if you can, do bring it, as long as the puppy's not stuffed in the trunk of the car, like in the hatchback all by itself. That's not so ideal. If you can flip a seat down and the crate can slide up against, up, if you have a child or another person with you, they can be beside them and interacting with them on the way home. It is a better idea. They have to ride in the crate or in a basket, not on your lap, because what happens there is the overbonding is already taking place. So when you get home and you say, okay, it's time to start crate, it's too late. They're already overbonding. They're going to have a harder time being separated and put away. So if they're in this crate already, the car ride's not going to be familiar for them. So they're already going to start feeling some comfort in this crate. So when they come into your home, they don't know nothing. So they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable in this crate that they just rode home in. So that puts you ahead of the game right there. And then it's not like they have to get used to a second crate or one that's not familiar, okay? But if it doesn't fit, obviously you need something, and a basket is usually, easier to deal with. But ideally, if you can bring the crate, there is a benefit to it. No stops on the way home, other than if you're, zinging to a bathroom break or a drive-through for a coffee or something. But the ideal thing is we want to get them home as quickly as we can, and as much time as you can, like as quick as you can, so you have more time in the evening as well to kind of get them in, get them settled in, kind of adjusted to the new surroundings, maybe in and out of the crate a couple times before nighttime, okay? And then nighttime, the key is to put them in your room, okay? Don't sleep in another room or out on a couch. Like, don't do that. Go to your own room, bring the crate beside your bed where you're that close, where your hand you just put your hand in that crate if they, need some comforting. No eye contact, no talking. You're completely ignoring them unless you have to put your hand in, then give them the hand to see if they're just looking for comfort or if they do have the potty on that first night. So this is important. Okay, the key is for nighttime is to get them as empty as you can get them before bedtime, okay? And bedtime is whenever you are going to go to bed. They kind of go with, like, the sun comes up, they're up. And the sun goes down, they kind of bunker down. But, 8, 9 o'clock, that's kind of a bit too early for most people. So they can have little cat naps, but you don't want long naps, and you want to keep them up as long as you can. So if someone goes to bed at 10, that's perfect. Get them back out just before you're going to go back to go to bed. Get them back outside, go potty, run around a little bit. And then crate goes upstairs, carry puppy up. Once you put the puppy in the crate, it's like, okay, good night. They will learn what good night means, right? And as you're prepping for bed, you're going to say, okay, hurry, it's potty time before bed. They're going to know what potty time before bed means. Like, they will learn these words and these phrases all, like, very quickly. So use them, because they do have a vocabulary, okay? And like, I just have to move at a certain time, and the dog's already like, okay, it's time to go out. So I don't even have to say it. So they become very routine, right? So crate to the room and beside you. So they hear you, see you, smell you. They're exhausted on the first day, so there shouldn't be much issue with sleeping through the night. Now, if they didn't feel comfortable enough or figure out where they're supposed to go potty, and maybe they were holding it, I mean, worst case scenario, but most of them end up figuring it out and go. But if they didn't, then they might need to go during the night. Then you would know this, because they'll wake up, and this is why if the crate's right beside you, you'll know, okay, they're waking up, I hear them. Okay, I'm not looking, I'm not talking, I'm not interacting, I'm just gonna wait and listen and see what they're doing, and if they do want to go out. So you wait it out. If they're very anxious to go out, they'll probably get a little more vocal, or like bite on the bars of the crate. If they're, sorry, my dog's barking. If they're needing to go out. If they're just looking for, like, are you still there? The hand goes in, and if that settles them, then that's all they need. Sorry, my dogs are gonna bark. Then that's all they need. Then again, no eye contact. As soon as you make eye contact, then you're initiating, more. So we completely ignore that. If they kind of settle back down, then great. They were just checking in. If they have to potty, they may not settle back down, and they may get more vocal and more vocal. So you waited it out, and then you go, okay, yeah, definitely he's got to go. Then open it, carry them, hang on to them, slip shoes on, outside, put them down, make lots of noise, turn lights on in case there's any raccoons or anything like that around. No talking and playing. This is like, let's go potty. You need to go, let's go. And then they do their business, reward them, good girl, good boy, lots of love and affection, back to bed, back to crate, completely ignore them, okay? You're not waking up every couple hours to take them out. Let them decide if they're gonna make it through the night or not, okay? And otherwise they will very easily train you during the night. If they think that you're gonna wake up and take them out every time they wake up, then they will do that. So don't do that, okay? You want to just only do it first night, second night, just give them the chance that this is a whole different routine. But aside from that, you're putting them to bed as empty as you can. You're getting them to go as long as you can. Now, if they went to bed at 10, got up at 5, first night, that's really good. So do let them go out if it's that early. But if you don't get up till 7, then back to bed, back to the crate, and then you go back to bed and you completely ignore them. You can put a toy in at that point, and they can decide whether or not they're going to go back to sleep or play or whatever. But if we're not interacting with them, chances are they're going to lie back down, okay? But if whoever gets up in the morning, the first person, you kind of have to have this planned out already. Am I taking the puppy out when I get up to potty and then putting them back in? Like, figure out how your plan's going to work, so that you already have a plan in place. If you wake up during the night, just don't look at the dog. Like, completely ignore them. Go to the bathroom or do whatever you need to do. Just do not look, do not interact. Then they'll be fine, okay? So just hand for comfort. First night, I always say, give them the benefit of the doubt. So you're trying to determine, are they just wanting attention, or do they really got to go? And if they really got to go, you'll know they're not going to settle down, okay? But wait it out and see. And then you are weaning them to what your schedule is. Like the cockapoos should be a no-brainer. They should have no problem whatsoever, as long as they did go in the evening, okay? Now, the smaller breeds, like your Shih Tzus, the smaller Cavapoos, they obviously have smaller bladders, but some of them can. and some of them will go all night. So what we work on when we're using the crate and stuff is we're working on building their tolerance as well as strengthening their bladders. So the biggest thing is how I'm set up is they have access to go in and out. So they don't have to hold it if they choose not to hold it. So they just, out they go every time they have an urge. But if it's raining and they don't want to go out, guess what? They usually hold it. So it's not that they're not capable, is they are capable. It's whether or not, how long do they really want to hold it for? So that's basically what we're working with is, you know, building the strength of their bladders so that they can hold it longer, and they obviously the bladders get bigger, but it's also their tolerance to how do I really want to hold it and how long do I really want to hold it for. So just keep that in your mind as well, because you might have a cockapoo who's capable of holding it all night but chooses not to because his tolerance level hasn't been built up. Okay, so just, it's not just the actual potty, it's like, or you know, them holding it, it's the tolerance level as well. So using your crate and your playpen is the key to helping them continue to build their tolerance. So build their tolerance and build the strength, and kind of forcing them a little bit to start holding it longer and longer. So that is important for them, to get them to understand they have to hold it now, because they don't have their little outside door that they have here. So your crate, short periods of time, and at nighttime. During the day, you're going to use your crate initially in the beginning, you know, for your 2 hours. And then as you're starting to increase them more and you've gotten them used to the playpen, then they go into the playpen. Or if you can create somewhat of a confined area, nothing too big, because then it's too big and it's too overwhelming. So they earn their right to more and more freedom. So we start small, crate, then we go playpen. Then that playpen can open up to a bigger section, maybe part of a kitchen or a bigger corner. So the playpens, you know, I know they are more useful than just that one shape, because they can make other shapes and they can help you make a bigger space or block off another space. So they do have multiple purposes. So they start small, and then they gradually get more and more space as they start to hold things longer and longer and understand, oh, I need to wait till you let me out and I go here to that door. And how they understand that is every time you open the crate, you're already dressed and ready to go. Okay, so when you open it, it's like, okay, let's go potty. And you're already headed to the door. They're following you. So at that time, make sure there's no other distractions. Like if there's kids running around, they're not following you to the door. They're like, I'm going to play, right? So you want to make sure when you're first doing this initially, it's kind of as quiet as you can get it, with their attention following you to the door. Your crate doesn't need to be at the door. It can be somewhere else. It doesn't matter really, as long as you can get them to follow you to the door. So you're like, come on, let's go potty, baby, let's go. And then you're kind of running along and they're coming. As long as they're coming, it's, you know. But if there's a lot of distractions, then obviously you need to get their attention back again and keep, you know, making your way to the door. If there's a patio door where they can actually see outside, they're automatically going to go there because they can see outside and they already know that outside's where I go. It's how do I get there? How do I get out there? So if they even make go and gravitate to going to the patio door, reward that. Oh, good job. You want to go outside? Open the door and let them go. Even if they don't have to potty and they're just, you know, recognizing this door and I can go out there, then do it and reward it because you want them to do that, okay? If you have a lot of stairs, then obviously scoop them up and get them down to the ground. Put them on the ground and walk to the area where you want to go or you want them to go. They're not going to pee on a spot this big on day one. They're not, okay? Get to the general area. And every single time you come out, you go to that general area and it'll get smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually they just know that when I come out, I go potty here, okay? And just like I said, go to a general area. Day 1, day 2, at this point, it doesn't matter, as long as they're going outside and they get rewarded. Love and affection, voice, okay? Praise always first. Good job, good puppy. Bend down, love them up. Touch is love and affection. Touch is what they live for. This is how they learn. Not food, no treats, okay? I don't want to get off topic here. I'm going to just stay with potty here for a second. So how you get them to go to this general areas is once you put them down, they're going to follow you. They are not just going to like run away. People have this fear that, oh, well, what if they run away? Well, why would they run away? You are the only thing they know. They are not leaving your feet. So this is why you need to move. If you stood still, they're going to sit on your feet. They can't go potty sitting on your feet. Okay. So they're in a whole new environment. So they need to smell before they'll ever go potty. So if they go out and they're just rambunctious, running around everywhere, great. They're not going to have any issues with pottying wherever the heck they want to go. Okay. But if they're really afraid, because obviously they're in a place they don't know, no smells, nothing is familiar, okay? So by you moving around, they are going to follow you. So you walk to your general area, and once you're there, I call it milling around. You're literally just moving like step, step, maybe back a step, step, step. So you're basically just kind of staying in this little square. It's just enough that they can't sit down. And then once they're comfortable that you're not leaving and taking off, then you'll see, oh, but I really got to go potty, but I'm really worried. Are they going to leave me? Then the nose goes to the ground. So you have to pay attention, okay? Once the nose goes to the ground, then they're like, oh, okay, they're thinking about going potty. So then back off, like you're not really interacting other than maybe saying, hurry, go potty, like, or whatever the phrases you want to use. And then let them start. If they start to get away from you, kind of just really slow it down and don't move, don't say much, and let them do this. Now, this is initially. This is not how it needs to be done every time. It's just until they're comfortable and they understand that they're supposed to go here. You might only need to do that once, twice, 3 times. It's just the very initial, like the initial few times. And as soon as they get rewarded for going, you know, good job, love and affection, lots of love, good job. Then they go, oh, this is what you want me to do, okay? They need to understand that I'm coming out here to go potty and get rewarded. Once they do that, the light goes on. So I know in the material it says 1 hour in, 1 hour out. If the puppies are happy, content, somewhat settled, like not freaking out in the crate. Like when I say freaking out, I mean like standing up, biting the bars and just throwing a tantrum. Then I wouldn't push them more than the hour, but you cannot take them out of that crate until they settle down, okay? So you need to get the little brain working. So when they're in this fit and in this tantrum, obviously this is worst case scenario. This does not happen most of the time. If they are like that though, it doesn't matter what you try to say, you are not going to get through. It's like a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum. They don't hear you. The puppy's not going to hear you. So save your breath, walk by the crate and tap it with your foot and it's going to zing. And then they're going to go, oh my God, what was that? Okay, so they're going to stop and the brain's going to go, oh my God, what was that? That made such a noise. I didn't like that. Now, again, this is worst case scenario. You're only doing this if they're in this tantrum mode, 20 minutes in, not taking a breath, then go and tap that crate. Keep on moving. Don't look at them. They won't have a clue that you even did that. And I learned this very quickly from a lady who didn't follow the rules, lived in a condo, wouldn't keep the dog in the crate. Every time she whined and cried initially, she would just let her come out. So she never learned to be in the crate, be independent or nothing. And then when it was time for the lady to go out come spring, Oh, well, this dog was just throwing a conniption, just bark, bark, bark the whole time, because she never left her bark once and she just didn't follow the rules. Anyway, long story short, I helped her multiple times. I ended up with the dog back. And when I got the dog here, I put her in the crate and I went into to my kitchen, but I could see her. So I just bent over to see her. So she moved herself down to the end of the crate and she poked her head up like this so she could look at me as I'm looking at her. So she got to the end of the crate and she's like, "Mah," and just little bratty little bark. And I'm thinking like, oh, now I get it. I know exactly what took place in that situation. So I just said to her, well, you can bark all you want because I'm not coming to take you out. And so it was just this snarky little, I'm this little diva, and if I bark, you're going to come and take me out. So that's what the dog learned. So I just walked by that crate and I tapped it and I kept going. And oh my God, she never barked again. One time. Like, I'm not like hoofing it. I just walked by and tapped it enough that it made that noise. She didn't like it, but she also knew she wasn't coming out because my energy is way different. And when I walked back, she had settled down and I said, good girl. And she looked at me and she eventually lied down and did. When they do that, you win. And that's when you would let them out. And for her, when I opened that crate door to let her out, I gave her so much love and affection because she gave in and she did exactly what she was supposed to do. Never, ever did she bark again. That was it. And I had rehomed her and she went to her new home, loving her crate. Never did that again. But it's important, guys, to follow those rules. It's for their benefit, because they need that structure. And every time you're using the crate and every time you open it, they're seeing you as their person, as the person who's taking care of me, as the person who I'm feeling secure with. And if you don't use anything like that, then you're taking away the most important chance of bonding and connecting and having that puppy see you as their person. And when they see you as their person, then it's not even so much as respect you, but they feel secure, like they have structure. So, to lock a puppy in a crate for 8 hours, absolutely not. Don't even take a puppy home. Okay, because that's not right. But for short periods of time, to build their confidence, to help them develop their bladders and stuff, absolutely. Nighttime, yeah, it's safe. Eventually, crate door will be left open in your living room. They're going to go in and out it as they please. And that's theirs. And let them do that. Never take their crate away. If they want to go in on their own, then that's their bed. Like, that's their home. If you have to go out or someone else needs to take care of your dog while you're away, well, their crate goes there. That's their home. That's their security. So it is a good, very good tool to have, and it is a tool, but if it's used properly. And if 6 months in and your dog is being crated for 5 and 6 hours a day and you call me and tell me, oh, is it time to let her out? I'm going to be really pissed because that dog should have really graduated from that crate a lot sooner and should never have been locked up for 6 hours to begin with. So they have the concept already of I hold it, I go out the door. Just show me where the door is, okay? And if you're consistent with this, there's less crate, less confinement, more free time, as long as they know where the door is. And then you have to pay attention is when they're going to the door, make sure you're letting them out, okay? Like, that's the whole point of this is to teach. They have to understand where the door is. And once they do, it's up to you to be paying attention when they're out. And this is why sometimes the bell on the door is a good idea, because they'll tap it and you're like, oh, the dog's at the door. Oh, so it does help. I know we get busy and there's kids running around and, but we, as puppies, they need that, you to be paying attention. So that's one way that it can help you if you do get busy. But if life happens and something's crazy in the house, puppy goes back into the crate, into the playpen, and you deal with whatever it is you have to deal with. So, like, don't add a puppy to the mix if there's a bunch of chaos going on. Just put them away, and then you know where they are. Deal with what you have to deal with. So nighttime, beside your bed, only take them out if they absolutely have to. And if it's from 10 to 5, then from 5 to 7 or whatever your schedule is, build them up, okay? In the yard, walk around, reward is the key. Don't ever use treats. Do not miss the foundation. You do not need to rush to puppy class, okay? I had one lady just recently pick up a puppy, $1,000 for however many weeks. And I thought, what are you going to learn? You're going to miss the entire foundation. And I showed her something that took less than 10 minutes. She was blown away. The customer sitting in the car was blown away. And he said, wow, I can't believe you just did that. And literally it was teaching the puppy to get my attention and to get petted. He had to sit at my feet, not jump up on me. And this is the first time this puppy's been outside of the kennel, even on the grass. Of course, he's anxious and he's insecure because he's outside and my big dog's kind of coming over. So he's like climbing up my legs. Okay, so this goes to the touch, okay, and how important it is and when to touch. If you have not listened to the videos that I just put up, I think in January, February, when I was away, do read them, because this will make so much more sense, because it's critical to understand when to touch them and reward them and when not to. Okay, guys, I can't stress this enough. In this very beginning, in these puppy stages, okay, you are imprinting. You are teaching, whether you're teaching the right thing or the wrong thing. That is what you're teaching. So try to understand that what you're teaching is the right thing. And this is a message I need to get out, because there are so many dogs who have learned things that aren't what they're supposed to do because they got rewarded for doing the wrong thing, because it's just not something people talk about or understand, right? So if that puppy kept jumping up on my leg and I would just reach down and say, oh, you're okay, and pet the puppy, I just rewarded that anxious behavior. And to get rewarded, he learned that he has to jump up on my legs to get rewarded and petted. Right? But no. So what you do is you have to be aware of, you never, ever, ever reward, touch, praise for the wrong behavior. So you have to always be aware of, okay, what state of mind am I rewarding my puppy in? And there's only one. Calm. Okay? If you're rewarding in a hyper state, you're rewarding hyper behavior. If you're rewarding anxious, insecure state, you're rewarding that behavior. So they think then they need to be in that state to be rewarded or get your attention. Okay? It's simple, but most people don't understand that. So touch is so important when we touch, because touch to me is, I always say, is you're sealing the deal, okay? When you touch, whether it was right or wrong. So be very, very mindful of not touching until you get what you wanted. So this example, I'll use it because this will happen to every single one of you. The puppy's going to always want to be jumping up on your leg. I'm insecure. I need touch. I'm afraid. I want up. Every single puppy is going to do this. So when that puppy is doing that, you have to be sure that you can look down and say something, or you could wait. Okay? And the second they calm down and the mind calms down, or something distracted them, as soon as that mind comes out of that silly state and they sit for a second, just calm for a minute. Good job, puppy. Good girl. Good boy, and love, love, love. Done. Okay? Move, or, you know, move around. Stop. They're going to come back. And if they're going to do it again, you wait. It's all about wait. And again, they're like hyper, like, you know, whining, crying because they want your attention. They want to be picked up. Do not touch. Just wait again. It gets quicker, quicker, and quicker. And then that stops altogether. So I literally did this in 10 minutes or less with this puppy. Literally. And when I moved, he followed me. When I stopped, he instantly sat down at my feet. And love and affection every time. And this woman was blown away. Okay? That is how important touch is. But it's with anything and everything you do. So if you come in and the dog's out and they come to you because they're all excited, if you don't want an excited dog at the door, no attention, no touch, nothing. Completely ignore the dog. Go do your thing until the dog comes or goes and sits or goes and lies down. Oh, good girl, good job. Now I'm going to go and touch you because this is the kind of state of mind I want you in when I come through the door. Yeah, because they all bark. Mine do it too. Oh, mom's home. But I don't go petting them and rewarding it. I walk through them, completely ignore them, and go put groceries away or whatever I'm doing. Completely ignore them. But as you're training, it's okay to reward them when they go to lie down, okay, as puppies. So, yeah, the touch thing, I could give you any and every example, but just know that you have to make a conscious effort. When am I touching? Oh, no, I'm not touching. Keep my hands up. Put your hands on your chest to make yourself not do it. But the key is to wait. And as soon as they do what it is you wanted them to do, good job, pet, okay? Seal the deal. Because they understand that, okay? And that's how they learn. So your praise, which is your vibration. Again, there's videos on that too. We are all energy. They pick up the energy we give. So the good job is a very high frequency, and they know like, this is the good frequency. When we're like, hey, you know, I don't want my dogs to start barking, but when I change my tone of voice, it's a different frequency. They're like, oh, okay, that's a lower frequency. Like, what did I do? Like, what's wrong, right? That is how they learn, because we're energy, their energy frequency. That's our connection. So rewarding with the touch, the voice, like the high-pitched voice, followed by the love and affection, it's so natural. And why not teach natural? It's a done deal. Nobody else teaches this way because trainers don't have a connection with your dog. So they have to manipulate the dog, okay? 60% of a dog's brain is their scent. So high value treats, why do you think they use them? If they manipulate. Oh, I'll do that. I'll follow you anywhere for that thing. It's not on free will. It's manipulation. So this is why no treats, because 9 out of 10 times, if you don't understand how you're training the dog, you're treating them for the wrong behavior. I've seen it, done it, been there. Like anything I even talk about is I personally seen it, done it. I shouldn't say done it, but seen it and understand how these things, how the behaviors happen, because just the lack of knowledge, and nobody else tells you this. Nobody else wants to teach this, or maybe they don't even know. So with trainers, when you go to puppy classes and stuff, it's why the biggest thing I don't like is if you're going to go do it, take a couple of his kibble, but you're going to do voice, love and affection, and watch the whole room go like, what the heck? How did you do that? Well, you built your foundation. You're building your blocks up. They don't have blocks. They have no foundation. Everything's food-based. So there's no connection. Everything is manipulation, right? And then you're one of these people who walk around with like pocketfuls of treats because that's the only way your dog looks at you or learns or listens. And it's not right. So connection. So energetically, and when to touch, when not to touch. So all those videos I put up there are, will make a lot of sense, because it's just how we are. It's just, and it's how they are. And it's why it works is because they understand it. So it's understanding their language, which is actually our language. We just don't know that. So kids, they have a different vibration. They're usually happy, always high vibing, like they're connected instantly, right? Like I see it every time on the kids and their puppies. It's instant. And it's like they're so connected because kids are so pure and they're so innocent. They don't have, hate, resentment, all these, crazy energies blocked up inside of them. It's instant. Like I just seen it on Saturday, like instant. It took them 2 minutes to warm up to that kid and it was like done deal. Like they're partnered up, right? It's like I've known you forever. And maybe they did. That's a whole different story. Anyway, so touch. Do go onto my YouTube channel. The best way to do it is through the website and click the YouTube link. And then you'll see there's a bunch of new ones that I put up. Take some time to go through them. It will make so much sense. And it will help you understand kind of this connection. So no stops on the way home. Crate if you can. Nighttime in the room. Potty out in the yard. Start with 2 hours in the crate versus 1. As long as that we don't have that crazy cycle, right? If you did have the crazy cycle, wait until they calm down. Open, lots of love and affection. Okay, let's go potty. Off you go. The next time you won't have that. But if they're happy, content, not throwing those major fits, then try to leave for 2 hours versus 1. Because you want to take them outside to potty with more of an urge to go. If you went every hour for 4 days, they have no idea why they're going outside. They'll come in and potty on the floor because they don't get it. Okay. So every hour is not as effective as every 2 hours, 2.5, because then they have the urge to go. So when they go out, it's quicker. It's like, good job. Boom. Oh, this is what you want me to do. Okay. Now let's run around and play. Okay. Pee and poo don't come together. It's one or the other. So you might have a pee first thing in the morning. They may need to run around and find a place to do number 2. Okay. Be careful first thing in the morning because they're so excited to get out and run around. They'll do like a half pee. It's like, oh, I got to go, but oh, I want to run and play. And so don't be quick to just, okay, you're done and back inside. Okay. So allow some time here because they're just excited. And they want to run around because they're locked up all night. Right. And number 2, they have to find a different spot. It's just the way it is. So be aware of that too. If you find that you're going out and you're coming in and they're going, then you're not allowing them enough time, or they just need more movement around the yard to find a different spot. Okay. So just kind of be aware of that too. Free time. Free time is out of the crate, out of the playpen. And it's usually supervised, unless like they're in a kitchen area and they can have that free time unsupervised. That's fine. But crate, playpen is their confined space, their time to be confined. Free time is out of that. Okay, so they're with you or with the kids or whatever. Okay, that's out of the crate, outside pee break, outside run around play, food and water. Every single time they're out of the crate and the playpen, they have to have access to that food. And remember, it has to be quiet or they're not going to go and eat. If you've got a busy house and there's kids running around, make sure you have that puppy Kong with their kibble in it in the crate, because they're going to go too long without eating and they're preoccupied and they're on discovery mode and I didn't eat. But when I go to the crate, you filled it with the Kong, with their kibble in the bottom. It just falls out of the bottom. That's what it's supposed to do. And they're hungry. So always check your Kong. If it's empty, then you know that they are eating. So if they're really busy when they're out, don't worry about it. Fill up that Kong, put it in, put a little extra handful if you have to. But again, this is just in the beginning stages. We just want to make sure that they are eating and, not running on empty without adding fuel, which is their food, right? No tap water. And nobody should be drinking tap water. Okay. There's just too much gunk in it. I'm on a well, like the chlorine and all the other stuff they put in the water. They won't like it. if they drink it, it could totally blow up their digestion, diarrhea, or they just don't like it and they won't drink. So that's an issue in itself. So bottled water, distilled water, whatever, not Desante stuff. That stuff is just not right. So if you have filtered water, like a really good filter system, then wean them into that. A fridge filter, I don't know how much it actually takes out, but you can wean them into that, but try just with some bottled water to start, okay? We don't want to mess up the digestion. So on the digestion topic, this food is the oven-baked traditions, small breed puppy, okay? Global Pets carry this. If they don't have it, they can get that in. I will have some here as well. It's a baked food, so it's not as processed, but it takes them a little bit longer. It takes them a little bit longer to get used to this type of food. So these litters I've just had, this is the first time they were on the chicken, because last year I had everybody on lamb, and I learned that protein have different temperatures, and lamb was a hot protein, and some of my dogs couldn't not deal with the lamb. They just could not digest it. So I was quite upset, actually, because I just thought doing lamb, I'm doing better for them, right? So anyway, back down to chicken we go. So these puppies are the first ones on the chicken, and it's taking them longer for their digestion to kind of get onto this. And I can see from last week to this week, it's already different. So it's, you know, if they're not quite as hard and formed one day, you know, versus the next day, just know with this, it's definitely their digestion, okay? And with this food, it is a good food. There's like no corn, no wheat, no soy. Very hard to digest on me, very hard to digest on your dogs, okay? So you need to stick to foods that don't have all that stuff in it. That's a lot better for them, but yet their digestion has to digest this stuff a little differently. So it just takes a little bit longer. And if you feel that you want to try a different flavor, they have lots of different flavors. And I had my house dogs on the fish, and they absolutely loved it. So if you find that the chicken just isn't going to agree with them like 2 months down the road, then don't be afraid to change the flavor. As long as you stayed a puppy, though. I'm not quite sure if they have all these flavors in the puppy. So just play with it, and just understand that different proteins have different temperatures. I know my schnauzers didn't do so great on the lamb, and my cockers did not do well at all on lamb, but they do better on chicken. So this is all trial and error too. So, you know, we have to just be aware of their digestion and how is it working, okay? Okay, so I'm going to talk about, okay, I could go on all day, but I'm already like 43 minutes in. Okay, I'm going to talk about their vaccination records. So this year I changed my vaccines. So no more Pfizer, no more Zoetis or whatever it was, okay? Less is better, okay? So take this how you want, but I'm going to voice my opinion, and I hope you listen, because you have to be the voice for these puppies, okay? So what I'm going to tell you, just keep an open mind, okay? Just keep an open mind. The least amount of chemical we put through their bodies, through vaccines, through the meds, through the flea and tick, all of it, the least we can put on their body and through their body, the healthier they're going to be, the longer their life is going to be, the more money you're going to save, okay? I'm 23 years into this, and I learn a lot over the years. So this is coming through experience and through what I see and what I learn. So this is the newest vaccine. I'm just going to see if you can see that again. Okay. Now you'll get this obviously on pickup, but You need to take this to your vet or call your vet with the names that's on the bottom. And I'll briefly touch on this on pickup day too. So if you do have questions about it, don't be afraid to ask. You have to tell them the name of this and what it is, okay? So this only has, I don't know again if you can see this, but you can see the little X's there, okay? It only has 3 things it covers. If I can get away with not vaccinating, I would, but obviously that's way too risky, okay? So this only covers distemper, which is very important, and parvo. And then they have another, another virus one, okay? So that's it. So I cross off Lyme, I cross off lepto. We do not do Lyme. There's not a Lyme shot for people. Our dogs are guinea pigs. I have had 3 vets as customers. I do this. I go through this with them. And I get patted on my back and say, keep doing what you're doing. Okay? So, lepto is only a problem spring. If you live near the bush, where if we have a lot of rain and a lot of water comes out of the bush, if it comes into your yard or into a pond or a puddle, then you have a very slight chance, if your dog gets into that, of leptospirosis being in that water, or a stale, stagnant pond or a beaver dam type thing. That's something they'd have to be in on a daily basis, that you would even consider getting lepto. A lake moves. A creek moves. If you have water that sits in your yard and never dries up, and you have wildlife, well, there could be a slight chance, okay? So it just depends on where you live, what your daily thing is. Now, lepto is a thing, and I experienced that. I took a puppy back that was very ill, and I took her into an emerge vet, and she was there for 3 days before the guy called me and said, oh, by the way, she tested positive for lepto. 10-week-old puppy. So what they did or didn't do with this puppy is beyond me. So these vet clinic tried everything, like looking for detox, like everything, like toxins, you name it. And then when I got this phone call 3 days later, I called them and said, she tested positive for lepto. And they're like, are you kidding me? So all they have to do is switch up the medication. So lepto is real. Again, so I'm not saying never to get it. It's you really have to outweigh. If you absolutely need it, then you need it, okay? But every vet wants to just push it. And why put it through their body if you're not around any of that, okay? So again, know where you are. But it's not just, oh, let's just do it just in case. No, because you're just putting more poison through their body. If you don't need it, don't do it. Okay, same thing with the Lyme. So be aware, right? I've never, in my 20-some years being here, ever gave lepto to my animals. Not one of them. So it caused a lot of reactions. Now, whether that's actually changed a little bit, I don't know, but I just took it out of the whole program. So don't do it. Don't combine it. If you have to do it single shot only, not in a combination. And you really only need it for the spring. So if you're middle summer and they're like pushing it, no. Maybe next spring, if my environment changes, I might consider it. So this is where I'm going to get firm. You need to stand up to the vets, okay? The day of every year going in and like blasting them full of this crap, done. So I've been for 2 years now telling people we're changing stuff up, but with change comes pushback. And I got it myself with my own vet. I had to wait 2 extra weeks in order to get these. And I didn't cave. I didn't care. No, I want this. So pushback, expect, but I need you to stand your ground, okay? They don't want to change because obviously they get push or kickback for whatever they're trying to push, right? So this is why I had pushback from my vet. And now I got charged more per vaccine because I changed. Okay? So you have to be the voice for the puppy. And I am asking you to be the voice for the puppy. So less is better. And I will touch base again on this. Okay, I'll pick up just to make sure everybody understands. But 3-year titer test is going to be written right in your booklet right here. So when you hand this to the vet, they already read this. They already know, oh, okay, I know what's happening here. They're not going to be able to bully you around because it's written right here. So we get our boosters. So the first one's done. So 12 week, 16 week. If they don't get it in for you in the time period of that 12 week, do what I did. Say, that's fine. I'll wait. Okay? And wait. If you have to wait a week or 2 extra, no big deal. It's better for the puppy, honestly. And then wait till they get it in. Okay? And then same thing with the 16 weeks. So obviously they're going to have to get 2 doses, right? They don't want to do that because if they're using a different brand, then they get more money for using that. So it's not that they can't get it in. They can. It's they're choosing not to. Okay? If you have a private vet, that's the best route. Okay? These corporations who own all these vet clinics now run by Big Pharma. So everything's push, 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 push. How much product? Here's the limit. Every single person that walks through the door, they can't go out under this X amount of dollar. That is how you're going to be treated. Money. Not, oh, I love your dog. I want to take care of your dog. I want to do the best thing for your dog. Get that out of your head right now. You're going to be sadly, sadly disappointed. Money, money, money. All the garbage we're putting through them causes the problems down the road. But they have the solution for every goddamn problem. Sorry. They have the solutions. But they're creating the problems. To see where I'm going? Okay. So there are some amazing vets out there. You have an amazing vet. You keep that vet. You share that information. If everything is push, 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 you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this blood test. No, you can't do that. And you're getting pushback, pushback, pushback because you're going to want to do less. That's not your vet. Find another one. And if they don't do what you're asking and they bullying you, report them. We're done with that. There's no more of that. It's your dog, and you get to tell them what you want to do. Now, yes, we want them to help us and advise us on stuff. There are going to be times that we need to do that, but we need to trust them. And the stories I could tell you would turn you inside out of what some of them have done. So again, I'm always coming from facts, okay? Find private vets. They're far and few between, or ones that are actually willing to listen to you. But if you're getting pushed back constantly, not the vet for you, because they're just going to make you feel like a horrible owner, and that's disgusting. Okay? So in your booklet, I write 3-year titer test. So you're going to do your boosters. Rabies, 8 months to a year. Why? Is your 5-pound or 10-pound puppy, 15-pound puppy, by the time you go to do it, they would normally push you at 16 weeks to do it. So your dog's 10 pounds, say. Your dog at 10 pounds and my 120-pound Bernese get the same shot. The same amount. Now imagine that. Okay? That is one of the absolute worst vaccines to get. But they make it so that people think it's an absolute must and it's a law. It isn't. Ask for the law. Ask for the proof. Where does it say? Where is it written? Where is this enacted that I absolutely have to rabies shot my dog? It's not written. People just think they have to do it. So you want to do it. You want protection. I get it. Do it one time, which will be this one, 8 months to a year old. Okay? After that, you are only ever going to put another vaccine through your dog's body unless a titer test says so. A titer test is a blood test, and you want it to check all of the levels, not just the rabies, all of it. It does not disappear out of the body. You will see it might take 6, 8, 10 years before a titer test might tell you another rabies is needed. So we did one in 6 years or 10 years, however it's going to be. I just know it's going to be a long time. So this is why they now only do it every 3 years. Well, 20 years ago, they were told to do it every 3 years. It's taken them that long to do it. It's a huge loss for them. They pay like dollars, like $2, $3 for a shot. And what are they charging us? 80, 90, 100. Okay. They don't want to lose that money. But it's not about money. If our dogs don't need this poison through their body, we're not doing it. Okay. So stand up, take your booklet, know what you want, know what you don't want. Ask, well, why is that? Why do you think my dog needs that? So again, it says titer test right on here. So if you want to do a titer test every year, just so you have certainty, then go do one every year. But I don't think you need to. But the point is no more chemical through the body unless that titer test says you are low. And again, where is it written that you need to keep going to the vet and keep giving your dog vaccines? You don't. Right? As long as they're protected, once they're an adult. If you live in the country and you don't live in downtown Toronto, how much of a risk is your dog at anyway? Right? And there are people who just don't vaccinate. And I can't say that I don't agree. The only thing puppy-wise is just these ones, especially the parvo and the distemper, that does protect them from that. But once they're adults, once every 5 years, you know what I mean? Just don't feel that every single year you need to go in and you have to do that or you're a bad owner. No, that is not the case. The least amount of chemical we put through their body, you're a great owner, okay? Naturopath, I always say that wrong. Start looking up naturopath vets. They give solutions for ear problems. They give you solutions for the flea and tick stuff. This is written in your paperwork too, okay? So this I will go over because it's kind of a little hard to go over on this. But sets out your deworming on here. The vets need to know about that. So you're going to photocopy a copy of this, take it to the vet. Your Revolution flea tick, topical, not oral. Okay, it's all on here. If needed, start in June. Or do the natural. Start looking up natural products. I had a video too, and somebody else was going to share a recipe with me that I'm going to post. But every single time I go to post something, it gets taken off because they have me flagged because they don't want me sharing good stuff. So it's essential oils. It's got different things in it. And if you are in a high risk tick area, I get it. You need something, but try to go natural versus the chemical. And I may be able to get some in too. Well, I probably won't be able to do it this week, but you know, like eventually, or even link to a person who does make that stuff because they don't sell that stuff in the pet stores, right? Because they don't want good stuff. Anyway, but you see where I'm going, right? We have to start doing our own stuff, our own research, making these choices ourselves. And this is how things are moving forward. Things are changing. And it's for their safety. Like the bottom line is our animals don't need all of this stuff, right? Again, depends on where you live. If there's a lot of sick dogs around, then yes, maybe they need some kind of protection. But just this every year thing, that it's just not right at all. We're making them more sick, okay? And like even the topical stuff, if you absolutely have it, even the Revolution, Still not perfect, but it's certainly better than some of the newer stuff, these oral crap things that they come out with. So it's like an absolute, if you absolutely have to use it, then that's better than some. But again, still the side effects on some of it is still not great. Okay, like seizures, like, I mean, none of it's great. So let's lean into more naturals. Look up naturopath vets, natural remedies for flea and tick, and get the ingredients and make it. Use it on your kids, right? And if it works, great. I'm sure it will, because I've heard a lot of people doing it, and it does work. So it's just, we have to just start changing things up a little bit for the better. And then there is your little one page. Someone had asked me about the contract. It's literally one page, very simple. You read it on pickup, and I sign it, you sign it, very simple. Spay neuter, yes, we do need to do that. It's just, I don't want people being irresponsible, and then we have more unwanted dogs in the world. That's not ideal either. But not 6 months, because that's when the vets are going to push you. They are not fully developed at 6 months. So I have a minimum of 8 months, but that's a minimum. You can go to a year if you want, as long as you're responsible and you're paying attention to your dog who's not been spayed or your intact male. Okay, so you have to be responsible with that. But the longer we wait, the more mature like their bone structure is, right? Because their bones, their joints don't even touch. And that's why a lot of times I have a problem with people who, try to pull off, oh, my dog has, luxating this, or, this and this is out, and like the dog's young. Did we fix them too early? And how much stairs did we do? How much hardcore running, jumping that did we do? You guys have to be careful with that, because their joints are not nowhere even near close. So you have to be careful on what you're doing. Like, too much exercise is no good either, right? You can actually make a dog sick. So yes, they need exercise, but to the level that your dog's capable of, especially as a puppy, right? They do need to burn off puppy. But, I had one gentleman call me and said, like, okay, my neighbors, everybody's giving me trouble because I'm walking like, 3, 4, 5 times a day, and it's this many K. It's like, okay, whoa, that's definitely too much. So they have very much a right to talk to you about that. If you want to walk that many times, then you walk 3 times without the dog. Or you cut down the dog's walk, and then you go the rest of the way. You go back out and go do your walk, okay? So we have to use some common sense, right? So, yes, too much exercise at a puppy this age could be very bad, okay? But yes, they need exercise, running around, playing. They have to burn off the puppy energy, but that's just in your yard, running around with the kids. That's enough to do that. But yeah, so the big thing is the vets, okay? I know we want to trust them, but ask questions, get answers. If they don't make sense, they have to start making a decision if they're going to start working with you for the benefit of the dog, or they're going to lose you as a customer. And again, we have to understand too, Big Pharma owns them. So they're made to push all this stuff. But it's up to us to say, no, not doing it. So if you have to get the bare minimum out of them, so be it. And then who says you have to keep going back? You don't. Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say something else. But we'll definitely tap back into this. So all the dates for your vaccines and stuff is all written here for you. And I'll just go through that quickly with you when we pick up. Okay, so you can kind of pre-book your dates and then touch base with the vets on these new things. Now, one lady already sent it in, and of course I knew this was going to happen. They said, well, we have one that's similar, but it's not quite the same. They don't want to get this in because it's not what they're being given more money for. Like, kickbacks, everything. But try to be adamant, try to stand your ground and see if you can push them into getting this. If it's one other thing that they add, and I can just mention that on pickup day too. It's what I had in the previous one, which isn't the end of the world. It's just as long as they're not like 6 different things in it. So do your best to stand your ground and ask for that, right? With knowing that less is better. If you have to cave, it's either that or they won't vaccinate the dog. You might have to do it. But at least we're going to stand up and we're going to start fighting, and we're going to start putting this out there. We have to do it. Nobody likes change, but we're changing for the better and the safety and the health of our dogs, right? So that's what I expect from you guys. That's why I put so much time and energy into the education part, is because most people just don't have this education. And that's like, if I could just educate 7 days a week, I would educate 7 days a week, because that's how passionate I am of it. It's just people don't have all this information. If someone just took that ebook that I have online and bought that and followed that, they'd make a great transition. So for me, the big thing is the more education people have, that means the dog is going to stay in a home where there's structure. They're going to stay in a home that's forever. And it's one less dog in the shelter. And if I could get like worldwide reach on education, I would give this up to educate, because dogs in shelters, that there's no need for that. None. Not one dog should be in a shelter. They chose the wrong dog. No education. That's it. That's the problem, right? Did not know what was the appropriate breed for them, for their lifestyle. Biggest mistake. And no training, no education, not knowing anything. That's how all these dogs end up in shelters. It's sad. So this is why I am who I am. And the education part, I don't think there's anybody else who gives this much education. I'm pretty positive there isn't. So yeah, I don't want to make this too long, but yeah, read the material, keep it handy, keep this video handy, and let me just double check to make sure I didn't. Food we talked about. We talked in and out the crate. No stops on the way home. Yeah, I think I went through the most of it. But I'm always available through email once you get your dogs home. But do go take a look at those videos. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube thing, and then every time because I have some new stuff coming, like really important stuff with when our dogs get to the end of their life. And, you know, euthanasia is like one of the hardest things people have to do. Been there, done that a million times. But this information that I have to share is going to be so critically important and helpful. And there's 2 more videos. There's that, and then there's one on our actual connection with our pets. So just to plant the little seed is, we all chose our pets before we were here. Just saying. That's why people have such a connection and such a draw with their pets, because they're not just a pet. And that's the next point, is they don't want to just be known as a pet. They're much more than that. But anyway, that's another video. So anyway, hopefully this helps answer all your questions. Again, if there isn't something I touch base on, do ask on pickup. I just thought I could get in a little bit more detail with the vets and stuff like that, and not miss, you know, the nighttime and that kind of stuff, because it's all pretty important. But routine, consistency, love and affection is the deal breaker. One other thing quickly that I will mention, I'll try and do this really quickly because it's important too. When your puppy's out in the yard and they're out running around playing, don't go chasing. Chasing, you're pushing them away. Because if I walked into you, you're not going to stand there. You're going to move away from me, right? Energy. I'm pushing at you. You're going to move away. So that's what we're doing when we go quickly towards the dog. That's an energy wall saying, move out of my space. That's how they understand that. If you want to catch them, stop, squat down, invite them to come into you on their level. It'll work every time. But don't do the chase thing, because you're pushing them away and they're doing what you're telling them to do. Okay? You have to trust that your dog is going to do the right thing. Like, get rid of this fear before you even bring the dog home. Is, oh, can we do this? Oh, I'm afraid. Are we going to be good parents? Are we going to, all this negative talk, disappear, goodbye, release, gone. Again, these videos that I posted on YouTube, you've got to go listen to them. Positive outcomes, positive thoughts, positive visions, because our dogs are energetic, like vibration. You're thinking all these negative things. They already know what you're thinking. They're that intelligent. Visualize your outcome of what you want. Say, oh, this is great. I know this is going to be awesome. He's going to do everything and he's going to be perfect and it's going to be so easy. But if you're like, oh, I don't know if we're up for this. Really? Did we make a mistake? Can we do this? Is he going to catch on to that? Is he going to be up all night long? Well, what are you doing? You're projecting that. Trust me when I say what comes out of our mouth and what we are thinking is so powerful in your everyday life. I don't want to get going on this topic, but only project positive thoughts. Only project your dog doing what you want it to do. Very, very important. So back to dog out running around in the yard, no chase. Squat down, ask to come in. Good girl, good boy. Love and affection. They got rewarded for coming in. They got love and affections, what they live for. Do you think they're going to run away from you every time you call them after they learn that? They know they're getting love and affection. Natural, it's what they want. You're out in the yard again and they walk away from you or they're not following you around. So what? Unless you don't have a fenced in yard, then we should talk about that. But you want them to go in a different direction from you so that you can turn around and go in the opposite direction from them. And wait and see how long it takes them to come and connect back with you. They're a pack animal. You are their person. They do not want to be left alone. Turn around and slowly walk away. And see how quickly you then can look down and they're there. And when they do that, same thing. Good girl, good boy, good job. Bend down and go crazy with love and affection. Then keep walking. They're going to stay with you because now they know this is what I'm supposed to do. This is how you do your recall. This is how you start recall. You have no idea how important that love and affection is when they do the right thing. That was a very natural thing for them to do, to stay with or to come back to you naturally because you are their person. And then to get the love and affection on top of that seals the deal, because they went away, they came back on their own, and you just rewarded it for doing something natural, right? They did it on their terms. We didn't force that. So you shouldn't force anything. It should be natural. But the thing is you got to be paying attention all the time about, oh, I need to reward that. Or, oh, no, I'm not touching that. Remember, okay? Don't touch what you don't want. And if you're all on the same page and you do it, it literally takes a few times and they have it, okay? So it's so powerful. But remember, your thoughts, only positive thoughts, only predicting what the outcome you want, nothing negative. Like these Snoodles puppies, like, and my one Aussie dog, like, I'm thinking they are already knowing. Like I'm not telling you, like, this is not far-fetched, but we are telepathic. And if you can connect with your dog in that way, it's how it's going to be. But you have to be thinking positive. You have to tap into their energy. So when you're training, when you're spending time with your dog, you have to be completely zoned in. You can't be trying to teach the dog something and saying, honey, can you get me this? Or Joey, can you go do your homework? Like, there's no connection, right? Because your energy's going in two different directions. So when it's time to sit with the puppy, usually at the end of their time out, not at the beginning, because they're usually pretty hyper, plan on spending time a couple times a day, because they need this stimulation. They need stimulation from you. If your puppy and you call me and he's like, he's biting and he's doing this and he's doing this, I'm going to say, A, he's frustrated and you're not giving him proper stimulation. They need to learn. They are here to learn. They don't know. You have to teach. And it's body language, but they need stimulation. Doesn't mean you have to stimulate them the entire time they're out. No. If they're off playing on their own, great. Leave them do that. That's independence. Don't take that from them. But you do need to sit one-on-one. If the kids are playing with them, that's fine. But you as the adult, the person who's training, needs to sit one-on-one and give stimulation. That time and attention, that's where they're growing, expanding, and learning. Okay? So if they're frustrated and they're acting like a brat, what are your kids like when they're in that state? They're frustrated, they're tired, something's not right, right? So they need that stimulation. But the point I'm trying to make here is you need to be completely zoned in. So, okay, it's puppy time, 5 minutes, we're doing training. There's no distraction. You are so zoned in, you actually want to ask to connect to the puppy. And you're in the zone. And this is where the magic happens, right? When you're connected. So if it's too busy, then don't bother trying, because you're not going to connect, right? You need to be really focused. And you're not asking for miracles at once, right? To sit, the kids can do this. Use a piece of kibble, right? You know, wave it in front of their nose so they can follow it. As soon as the head goes up, the bum goes down. Good job, good sit. It's that easy, right? To get them to lie down, same thing, kibble in front of their nose, down the center of their chest into their front legs. And if they want to get it, they have to bend down and put their head down. Guess what? The body lies down. That's your lie down. So good job, Ron. You know, lots of love and affection. And it just easy. So the kibble at that point is just so that you can get them to follow it. You don't always going to need a piece of kibble to make them sit. It's just going to be sit. And oh, good. And always the reward, the love and affection, not the food. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go off because this is going to get too long and I don't want you not to watch it. But connection is key, and trusting that they are going to do the right thing. Don't have doubts, because when you have doubts, that's what you're telling. That's what you're putting into them. Oh, they're doubting me, so I guess I'm going to go do this, because that's what basically they're telling me to do, right? So when I open the door, 6 dogs go out. I don't think, oh, are they going to run out on the road? The thought doesn't even cross my mind. They have free will to every one of them run out my driveway onto the road. But do they? No. When I come out the door, if they go out in front of me, they actually wait until I come out. They don't, right? They just stand there and wait. If I took 5 minutes, they're going to just be outside the door waiting until I come out. So routine is we go out, we go this way. We go to the kennel, we do our chores. So I don't put the thought in my mind that they're going to run out on the road and get hit. It doesn't cross my mind, because if I kept worrying about that, thinking, oh my God, they're going to run out. Oh my God, what if one of them gets it? Oh my God, what if one of them gets it? Oh my God, there's a car coming. Oh my God. So what am I doing? I'm putting that out to them. Go on the road and get hit, because that's basically what I'm saying. So just trying to make that point, right? Because no one ever talks about this kind of stuff. Never project anything negative, ever. Only positive in everything you do in your life. Everything. Every single thing. Your relationships, your job, your kids, everything, especially with our kids. Only ever project our kids are doing good things. That they're doing good. That they're making right decisions. That you see them in their future. It's incredible. Anyway, I can go on forever, but hopefully this helps you guys, and it's one that you can keep and you can refer back to it. And if it's helpful or you found it helpful, just send me a comment. Just say, yeah, this was really good. Could lived without it. However, but I think it'll be more beneficial than not. Anyway, I'll see you guys all on pickup day, and looking forward to meeting you guys all. Bye-bye.